Imagine stepping into a grand ballroom, the velvet drapes parting to reveal a podium emblazoned with the presidential seal, spotlights illuminating a former president, not for a campaign, not for public service, but for pitching a cryptocurrency emblazoned with his own name. The room pulses with tension, a mixture of old money investors, crypto influencers, and foreign faces. They've all spent millions to be there, and the question on everyone's mind: is this the next stage of technological finance, a legal minefield, or the boldest sellout in modern political history? Tonight, we're diving deep into the Trump crypto dinner scandal, a spectacle where power, technology, and opportunity collide. Did Donald Trump just rewire the rules of money and politics? Or has he triggered a crisis that could reshape the future of both government and global finance? Let's pull back the curtain and explore how a single night in Virginia set off a legal, ethical, and economic explosion that's reverberating far beyond the walls of a golf club. To truly understand the stakes, we first need to understand what happened. Because the disturbing reality is, nothing quite like this has ever unfolded at the intersection of Wall Street, the White House, and the wild world of crypto. So, what's the real story behind the Trump coin, the iconic presidential seal, and the swirl of billions in digital wealth? Buckle up. This isn't your typical political fundraising saga. To grasp why the Trump crypto dinner matters, we need a crash course in the symbols, laws, and shifting financial worlds involved. The presidential seal, it's more than just a logo. Dating back to the Continental Congress, it's a symbol of the nation's highest office, standardized by Harry Truman in 1945. Its eagle, olive branch, and arrows represent American power and ideals. More importantly, the seal is protected by federal law, specifically 18 U.S.C. Sector 713. This law exists for one reason: to prevent anyone from using official government symbols in ways that could imply endorsement by the U.S. government. Violating it isn't a slap on the wrist. It carries up to 6 months of jail time. Why so strict? Simply put, these symbols aren't anyone's to leverage. They carry enormous power, the power to inspire trust, to imply legitimacy, and, critically, the power to sell. Now add cryptocurrency to the mix. In the last decade, digital assets exploded from underground geek obsession to global financial force. Bitcoin kicked off the movement, but soon came a wave of so-called meme coins, coins that ride on hype, influence, and the cult of personality. Some are jokes. Some, like Dogecoin, became billion-dollar markets. Regulation? It's still the Wild West, with the SEC chasing a stampede of new coins and exchanges, and Congress scrambling to catch up. And now, in steps Donald Trump, a man who has always blurred the lines between private business, public persona, and politics. Until recently, official involvement in the crypto world was the domain of fringe politicians, Silicon Valley, and tech entrepreneurs. But Trump's sons, Eric and Donald Trump Jr., have reportedly turned Trump meme coin into a lucrative family business, one that, according to NBC News and blockchain data, has already drawn in nearly $400 million in investor funds. How did they do it? Access. Trump's dinner was no ordinary rubber chicken fundraiser. It was a high-stakes lottery where the biggest buyers of Trump coin could win access to the president himself. Among the top 220 investors who scored an invitation, a significant portion weren't even Americans. Some were major figures in international finance and tech, raising immediate red flags about foreign influence, money laundering, and potential violations of the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution, which bars officials from receiving gifts or payments from foreign states. On the night of the dinner at Trump National Golf Club in Virginia, the spectacle blurred every boundary. There was President Trump, stepping off the Marine One helicopter, presidential seal gleaming behind him at the podium, addressing a private audience who, by all appearances, had paid handsomely for a seat at the table. Critics quickly pounced. Senator Jeff Merkley, protesting outside, branded the affair the Mount Everest of corruption. Social media lit up with hashtags like #GriftGala and #CryptoCorruption, while protesters waved signs that read, "America is not for sale." The backlash was swift, but White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt tried to downplay the outrage, insisting, "The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner." To many, it sounded like splitting hairs. But the public reaction was only the beginning. Legal experts immediately began dissecting the implications. Attorney Tracy Gallagher put it bluntly: using the presidential seal at a for-profit event likely violates federal regulations, as it implies government endorsement of a private activity, undermining the symbol's integrity. Other experts raised the stakes even higher. Daniel Weiner of the Brennan Center for Justice remarked, "It's completely unprecedented to have a United States president attending a dinner like this, putting money into the president's pocket. That's something new and unprecedented." Meanwhile, watchdog groups and lawmakers sounded the alarm about potential campaign finance violations. Was the Trump coin just a clever way to bypass contribution limits? Was it an open door for foreign entities to buy influence? And with the SEC reportedly monitoring the coin for securities violations, the legal risks were mounting by the hour. What about the crypto world itself? Analysts warned that the event could trigger long-term volatility in the already unstable meme coin market. The price of Trump swung wildly as headlines crossed the globe. According to one crypto researcher, it's not terribly surprising that Trump is trading on overseas exchanges given the regulatory history, highlighting how complex and often unregulated this landscape remains. And with Congress considering new legislation like the End Crypto Corruption Act, the dinner might be a catalyst for the most sweeping regulatory crackdown in the digital asset space yet. But perhaps the thorniest question goes deeper. Did Trump's event cross a line that can never be uncrossed? By using symbols of the presidency at an event designed to enrich himself and select investors, did he break the social contract Americans expect from those who serve? Or has he simply reimagined what opportunity means in the age of tech-driven capitalism? To answer this, we need to look at the main conflict brewing beneath the spectacle, a clash of ethics, law, global money, and the very notion of what's for sale in American public life. On one side, the defenders, arguing Trump acted in his private capacity and that the crypto market represents a democratized, innovative new frontier. They point out that blockchain makes all transactions traceable and that technological progress often outpaces regulation. Supporters call the dinner a harmless, even visionary, way to connect with global investors, boost the American brand, and ride the crypto wave. On the other, critics who say this is the dictionary definition of corruption. Selling access to the presidency, they argue, undermines public trust and invites foreign money to penetrate American politics. Senator Richard Blumenthal didn't mince words. What's happening tonight at Trump's golf course is, in effect, putting a for sale sign on the White House. It's auctioning off access. Donald Sherman of Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington called it one of the most blatant and appalling instances of selling access to the presidency, blurring the lines between public service and private gain. There are also practical concerns. How can law enforcement monitor and enforce campaign finance law when money flows through decentralized global crypto networks? Does the very volatility of meme coins mean investors are more likely to lose their shirts or just hide influence buying behind a haze of hype? And in the background, the SEC and other regulators are scrambling to keep up. Reports suggest they're watching not just Trump, but a growing universe of similar coins tied to public figures. Financial analysts warn the crash or manipulation of just one major meme coin could ripple out, shaking global markets and eroding trust in both digital assets and American institutions. All this is happening in the midst of a legislative arms race. Some lawmakers see Trump's dinner as the final straw, pushing for laws that would ban elected officials from profiting from digital assets. Others warn that a hasty crackdown could stifle innovation or simply drive the market offshore, leaving American investors and interests unprotected. And then there's the international dimension. With foreign investors reportedly among the top buyers of Trump, national security hawks worry that adversaries could use crypto as an end run around sanctions and influence buying protections. If you can buy a seat at the table, literally, by pumping money into a meme coin, are America's core democratic protections already compromised? Emotions are running high on all sides. This isn't just about legal statutes or crypto technicalities. It's about trust. Trust in the presidency, in the markets, and in the boundaries between service and self-interest. One misstep, and the damage could last for generations. So where does this leave us tonight? Standing at a crossroads with lawmakers, regulators, and the public all asking, did Trump's crypto dinner signal the dawn of a new era of opportunity, or the start of a dangerous slide into chaos? And as the night draws to a close at Trump National Golf Club, the last question lingers in the air. If the very symbols of American power can be leveraged to sell a meme coin, what boundaries, if any, remain? And who, if anyone, will draw the line? The fallout from Trump's crypto dinner is not just a headline, it's a crack in the glass of American democracy, reverberating across law, markets, and the very soul of government integrity. As the dust swirls, Let's look forward. What does the future hold now that a former president has blurred the lines between public power and private profit in such spectacular crypto-fueled fashion? Imagine the legal dominoes. Federal agencies, from the Department of Justice to the SEC, are now positioned for a possible showdown. According to regulatory insiders, a multi-agency task force is already reviewing the event for violations: improper use of the presidential seal, foreign money influx, potential campaign finance circumvention. One legal expert warns, if this goes unpunished, it's a green light for all future officials to monetize their public identities with impunity. But the law isn't just about what's written, it's about what's enforced. If authorities hesitate, the precedent is set. Future politicians on either side might decide that public office is a launchpad for personal digital riches. The public's faith could erode further, accelerating what one analyst calls the privatization of institutional trust. For the global crypto market, the echoes are seismic. The Trump coin's volatility since the dinner, price spikes, panicked sell-offs, speculative frenzies, illustrate the new risks. When politics merges with crypto, says crypto researcher Molly White, volatility isn't just in price, it's in public trust and regulatory stability. Internationally, the influx of non-US investors at the event exposes a gaping vulnerability. Critics warn that crypto could become the new frontier for foreign influence, subtle, hard to trace, and capable of circumventing traditional safeguards like the emoluments clause. Senator Richard Blumenthal did not mince words. It's putting a for sale sign on the White House, auctioning off access. And then there's the risk of backlash. Lawmakers who feel outmaneuvered are already drafting new bills: tighter restrictions on elected officials owning or promoting digital assets, blanket bans on the use of official symbols at private events, and perhaps a new federal office for crypto ethics and transparency. As one Capitol Hill aide put it, if you want to play with the future of money, you'd better play by the rules. Yet it's not all threat. There's opportunity here too. The spectacle has forced Washington's hand on crypto regulation. Congress, previously paralyzed by partisanship, may finally have a shared motive to clarify rules around digital assets. This could mean a safer, saner crypto space that works for everyone, not just insiders and meme coin tycoons. Let's zoom out to the global chessboard. With the US embroiled in questions of trust and legality, rivals may seize the moment to push their own digital currencies. China's digital yuan, Europe's digital euro, these projects are quietly gaining ground, and the US's crypto turbulence could hand them a golden opportunity. As the world watches America debate the ethics of presidential meme coins, others are racing ahead, reshaping the future of digital money. But what does this mean for you, for ordinary viewers, voters, and crypto holders? The lesson is as personal as it is political. First, skepticism is your shield. In an era where public figures can brand and sell digital assets with a tweet, every investment pitch, especially one dripping with political prestige, demands triple scrutiny. Ask yourself, is this coin about technology, or is it just about access? Second, understand the rules of the game. If you're active in the crypto market, know that new regulations are coming. The SEC is sharpening its claws, the IRS is watching blockchain transactions, and Congress is hungry for reform. Transparency, due diligence, and documentation are about to become as vital as your wallet password. Third, pay attention to the signals of influence. Foreign money flowing into American political circles, even in digital form, is not just a legal technicality. It's a fundamental threat to democratic self-determination. The more opaque the market, the greater the risk. Voting with your wallet, as well as your ballot, matters more than ever. Now let's turn to the ethical compass. When a leader blurs the border between public duty and private gain, it's not just a case for prosecutors, it's a test for the public. Do we accept the normalization of monetizing official power, or do we demand new standards, refusing to let the value of office be measured in meme coins? There are practical takeaways for every American, and indeed anyone engaged in digital finance. If you're considering investing in political coins or NFTs, dig deep into their origins, their legal status, and the real risks. If you're passionate about responsible government, now is the time to support reforms. Insist on transparency from your representatives, and demand clear separations between official authority and private enrichment. The ripple effects of the Trump crypto dinner will last years, maybe decades. Already, Washington officials are holding emergency meetings on digital asset ethics, racing to prevent a repeat. The White House, eager to distance itself, has quietly circulated internal memos clarifying that any future involvement with digital finance must be strictly separated from official capacity. Some see this as a positive, a long overdue housecleaning. Others warn it's only a patch over a widening crack. The question in our headline, has Trump crossed an irreversible line, now has a complex answer. Legally, the battle is far from over. Investigations may confirm violations of the presidential seal law, campaign finance statutes, or even the emoluments clause. But even if the courts are slow to act, the moral line has been dramatically redrawn. The world saw a sitting president sell access at the intersection of politics and crypto, with the machinery of government as the backdrop. Will this be the moment that finally triggers real reform? Or will it be remembered as the point where trust in the guardians of American democracy took a hit it may never recover from? History tells us that when the rules are challenged by the powerful, society is forced to adapt. Just as past scandals prompted campaign finance laws and reforms to government ethics, this latest crypto controversy may galvanize a new era of digital age accountability. But it will take vigilance by lawmakers, regulators, and crucially, by the public. Here's a secret fact, revealed in recent congressional hearings. Behind closed doors, bipartisan staffers have admitted that this scandal has finally lit a fire under dormant crypto regulation. One Senate aide confessed, "We always knew abuse was possible, but this brought it home. There's no going back to the status quo." So as you watch the rise and fall of crypto coins tied to political personalities, remember, transparency is power. Demand answers, support reforms, and never forget that the trust underpinning democracy is more valuable than any digital fortune. If you found this explainer valuable, hit like and share it to keep the conversation alive. Subscribe for more deep dives on the intersection of politics, technology, and finance. And in the comments, tell us, do you think Trump's crypto dinner will change the rules forever?